Good evening, everybody. Welcome to John Higgins Live, and man, are we live. I'm John Higgins. It's awful good to be here this evening with you. My guest this evening is Kathy Bockus. Now, Kathy, she is the candidate for the St. Croix riding, Conservative Party, the St. Croix riding. Am I correct?
You are, John.
There, thank you very much.
And good evening to you, too, and to everybody else.
Awfully good to have you here.
Nice to be here, John.
So first, Kathy, a little bit about yourself. Okay, so here you are. You're the candidate. Now you're getting into it.
I'm getting into it.
Good for you.
Never dreamed I'd be in politics, John. I've always been a reporter.
Exactly.
I started 2 days out of high school. I tell people that I went to the Sink or Swim School of Journalism. I learned on the job at the Telegraph-Journal and the Times-Globe in St. John. And for 40 some odd years, that's what I've done.
Exactly, exactly. So, were you born here? Where were you born?
I was born in St. John, but I was raised in Hampton.
Okay, yeah.
And I have 3 sisters, and my mom still lives in Hampton.
Right.
She's 88. Her name's Connie, so hi, Mom, if you're watching. Have to do that. Told her I'd do that.
Perfect.
She lives in a senior citizen apartment complex. I have to make an appointment to see her and to call her. Yes, they're busy.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So my sisters live in St. John and Rosse. We have 2 children. Walter and I have been married it'll be 45 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah. He says he's never kept a car that long, so I don't know.
I guess he's going to keep it.
I guess, yeah. It's too hard to train another one now.
And just to let everybody know, this is so very interesting that Kathy, you live in my grandmother's homestead in Rollingdale.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
McLean Hill.
It's Leverville.
Leverville.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. Mary Faith Claycorn tells me we live in Leverville.
You live in Leverville.
No matter who draws the map lines or whatever, we're still Leverville.
Exactly.
So our 2 children live in Fredericton and Fredericton Junction. We have a daughter and a son.
Okay.
And 7 grandkids. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And when the kids were little, they'd come to the farm, and they called it Faraway Farm, because to them it was a long drive from Fredericton
to Leverville.
Yeah, to Leverville.
Right.
And they used to chase the sheep in the fields and chase the
that
pony.
amazing?
And oh yeah, they loved it. We loved it.
Yeah, and you still do. So, golly, Kathy, how did this? Well, one morning, I guess I'll get into politics.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding. I worked at the Courier newspaper here as a reporter, journalist.
Very well known. Exactly.
Yeah, we ran into each other a lot.
I was at the Tide. That's right. Yeah.
So there was some restructuring done, and I left there with 2 or 3 other people. And Greg Thompson was elected as MLA.
Exactly.
And he came to me and said, I want you to come work for me as my constituency assistant. He said, I need somebody that knows the people, knows the riding, and knows the issues. So I thought, well, okay. Well, it was pretty much the same type of work I had been doing at the Courier as a reporter. I don't think a lot of people understand that reporters are advocates for their community. They keep governments accountable. They listen to people's stories, they listen to their concerns, and they help them resolve it or get their stories out there. They raise awareness of what's happening in the community. With the position when I was in Greg's office, people would come to me for help. So they had issues, they had concerns. We needed to raise awareness of those issues and concerns. So I helped them navigate through the various government departments and help them resolve it.
So you're used to dealing with government.
Oh yes. Yeah, I had another sink or swim school.
There's a plus. I mean,
yes, so I have some experience navigating the government departments. I built a lot of really good relationships within a number of departments, and I got to see firsthand all the MLAs and the ministers and how hard they work for the people of New Brunswick.
Right.
And how passionate they are and how down to earth they are. I can call any of them anytime.
That's amazing. Yeah. And see, now that you've explained that to me, and I can see now why this would fit into place. Why
it seemed to be a natural progression.
That's what I guess I'm trying to say.
That's sort of like all roads led to here.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of roads, I mean, roads in Charlotte County lead to everywhere.
Exactly.
We have a lot of ties in Charlotte County, family-wise. My husband Walter, his mom was a Maxwell from the Ovenhead Road in Bethel, right behind Aussie's. And when they would spend summer vacations down there, Walter remembers walking up the road, it was a long road, to Ozzy's, it was much smaller then, and eating French fries in the back room with Ozzy while he listened to his ham radio.
Really?
Yeah, and our kids grew up there, you know, summer vacations were spent there, and they'd run barefoot through the fields and pick rhubarb and run down to the shore and whatever. So we're related to a lot of the families, or Walter's family's related to a lot of the, there's Fishers, Vianders, Holtz, Irwins,
yes, definitely so.
Hansons,
Yeah.
all those are
Viander
related.
Road.
Yeah, Viander Road, Holtz Point Road, that's where Walter's grandmother was born.
Okay, so you certainly do know the area. You know.
Well, just from covering it too, with the different stories and different events and circumstances in Charlotte County and a bit of York County, Macadam Way.
Yeah. While Kathy and I are talking, if you have any questions for Kathy, please give us a call. And it's 529-8826. And in long distance, 506-529-8826. Or if you are somewhere else in the world, call 855-529-8826. Please call, because Kathy would love to ask your questions. Any questions or any comments, give us a call.
Well, the whole reason I mean, I love talking with you, John, of course.
Thank you very much.
But the whole reason that I really wanted to come on the show was so I was hoping people would call, and so that I can learn more about what they're thinking, about what their concerns are, what their issues are. Because if I don't have the answer, I'll find out the answer.
Right.
Because that's what I do.
Exactly.
I get answers.
Exactly. So, just getting back to the area that you're covering, Campobello.
Yes.
Macadam.
Yes.
Right. Where else?
The riding covers Campobello, Macadam,
right.
all the ridges, St. Stephen, and St. Andrews.
And here, St. Andrews.
Yeah.
So, that's a big area. That's
it
a big.
Is. Yeah.
Now, will you be traveling all all over this area?
Oh gosh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I intend to be very visible.
Right.
Somebody asked me if I found it difficult doing this pre-campaigning or whatever, and I said it's really no different from my job with the Courier. We went everywhere. We covered events. We drove all over the place. I used to follow fire trucks everywhere.
Exactly.
Cover,
exactly.
Not disasters, but I mean, if there was mishaps and fires, we traveled all over the place. My colleagues, Barb Rayner and Kate Scott and I, and Vern Faulkner when he was there.
Yes. You were in Campobello last week?
Yes, I was.
How did it go?
Very well, very well.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted boots on the ground in Campobello because a lot of them weren't able to come to my nomination January the 18th because it was scallop season. So they have to make hay while the sun shines or shuck scallops while they can or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'd like to go down there and just meet with some people. And Curtis Mallock, the former MLA, was kind enough to help set it up. And we did meet with a lot of people. And as I said, it's boots on the ground. That's what I want.
Exactly.
I want to hear from the people.
Right.
Reports and studies and things are okay.
Right.
But I want the people to tell me what they're concerned about.
Did you hear anything about anybody mention about the ferry problems that they've been having? And what's the story?
General consensus, and now this was only a few people that we spoke to, the general consensus was they'd like to see an extended season. But we did speak to a couple of members of the ferry committee, and they would like to see a year-round ferry.
Okay.
So it's whatever that community wants, I'll help them get. If it's at all possible, and the funding is there, it's going to have to be a three-part funding. I mean, municipal, provincial, and federal.
Okay.
Whatever happens.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have Bill Oliver, the Minister of Transportation.
Right.
He did come down to the island with me.
Okay.
And people were able to speak with him too. And he said he learned a lot
really?
On that trip, yes.
Wait, was that his first time on Campobello? Or?
Oh no, I don't think it was his first time,
No,
but I wanted him to go with this ferry issue coming up.
Yeah.
I wanted people to be able to speak with him. So what better way? Bring the minister down.
Well, really? I mean,
Here he is to ask him your questions.
Yeah. It seemed to me that that's the type that you are.
It's I like to think that I'm kind of a common sense person, and a common sense approach.
Yeah.
If you want to know the answers, you go to the top.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Was there a thing with the bridge?
I don't know what you mean.
The Campobello Bridge, was there?
I don't think there's any issue with the bridge.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is that there was some talk about they were going to close. I
can't imagine.
No, I can't either. Yeah.
How would people get off Campobello
Well,
in the wintertime? Unless they had some ice boats
Especially
or...
if the ferry's not well. I guess,
Well, yeah.
well, I guess we clarified that
That's
up
right.
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's in the news a lot. It's about the hospital. Hospital closing. You know, how long is the hospital going to be here? The threat is there that it's going to be closing. Okay, what's the story?
What's the story? Well, I don't have any story or answers to that,
Okay.
but I do know.
Is that right
That-
though? Is there talk that they're going to close the hospital? No. Okay. Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of, John.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
I've not heard.
Right.
I do know that the previous government closed our operating room and closed our courtroom. But
They sure did.
They sure did.
Yeah.
I know because I used to cover court.
Yes, you did. That's right.
Yes, I did, and everything was moved to St. John. I will tell you that I would be against any change in the services offered at our hospital.
Right.
Any change in the emergency room, in the blood lab, in services whatsoever. We need that hospital. And I have spoken with Minister Ted Fleming. This was about a month or so ago, and he assured me that there were no changes planned for our blood lab, that it would remain the same, because we're in a unique situation here in St. Stephen, because, well, we're in St. Andrews right now, but in St.
Right.
Stephen,
Yeah.
we're in a unique situation because the catchment area does not overlap with any of the other services, the larger areas, and mostly it's because of Campobello. They can't travel an hour and a half to St. Stephen and then an hour and 20 minutes either to St. John or to Fredericton.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
our hospital is very,
Does the government
Important.
realize that?
of course they do, of course they do. Yeah, yeah.
And what are they saying? You know, well, we don't care. You know.
No, they've said there's no changes planned right now for our
Okay.
hospital.
Yeah.
I do know that I have spoken with Steve Backman, the Charlotte County Hospital
Yes,
Foundation.
yeah.
And they do a great job.
Okay,
There's
yeah,
Steve
yeah.
and Blair Tinker and I think Rick Purcell and Fred Petty and a number of other people. They do a very good job raising funds, you know, that they have the radiothon every year.
Exactly.
And they take
Yeah.
care of our hospital. They do
Yeah.
a great job. I can't praise them enough.
That's excellent.
Yeah, they do a great job. Raise money for equipment that we need that's not in our budget. They raise money for education for the nursing staff and for other people there. So yeah, they do a lot of work. So our hospital is important to our community.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess maybe. Yeah, exactly. And like you just said, you're going to work to keep it open, right?
You're right. You're right.
Perfect. Karen Ludwig.
Yes, I know
Okay.
Karen.
Karen running for the Liberals.
Yes, she is.
Okay. You've got Rod. And Rod's running for the
Rod Cumberland, yes.
Rod Cumberland for the People's Alliance.
Yes,
Some pretty big guns there.
I guess, if you want to think that way. I am
Well,
too.
There. I think that I think that's what I was looking for. Okay, so I wake up some morning. Well, gee, do I vote for Kathy or Rod? Okay, why would I? Tell me, why am I going to vote for you? Why
Why?
would I vote for you?
Because I know where you live, John.
There you go.
No.
Hang on, Doug.
No, I think I'm the best choice here. I've lived here for the past 23 years.
Right.
I've celebrated with people. I've mourned with people. I've listened to their issues. I listen to people. I've lived here
Right.
among the people, just everyday people. I mean, I put my pants on one leg at a time. I don't have any airs. I'm
Yeah.
just a regular person.
Yeah.
I
Excellent.
am, and as I said, I kind of already have had an apprenticeship in how to be an MLA. Poor Greg was sick
Yeah.
during his term,
Mm-hmm.
and I did fill in a lot for him with his approval, of course.
Right.
And I went to a lot of events and made a lot of presentations and brought greetings on his behalf. Plus,
Really?
I worked. Oh yes, yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of that, and again, as I said, running it by him first, what he wanted to say or
Right.
the message he
Well,
wanted
Greg
to
could
get
be.
across.
Yeah, Greg would want that. Greg
Oh,
would
of
want.
course, yeah,
He would.
yeah.
He would.
But his wife Linda did say at our at the nomination that he wouldn't have hired me if he didn't think I could have done the job.
Oh, there you
so-
go. Yeah, it sounds just like
yeah,
Greg.
Yeah,
Sounds
it
just
does.
like.
So I've had the experience.
Yes.
I've had the
Yeah.
experience in dealing with the government departments, in dealing with the public. Finding it a little bit different being on this side,
I was going
in front of the
s-
camera, as
yeah.
opposed to behind the
You're
cameras.
used to doing this, what I'm doing.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. So, but it's coming. It's coming.
When you were in journalism, speaking of
Yeah.
the journalism, okay, what type of stories did you cover? Just
I liked people's stories.
people, right?
Yeah, I loved listening to people. Everybody's got a story.
That's
Everybody has a story.
everybody.
Yeah.
That's the point of
Yeah.
the show too.
Yeah.
Everybody has a story.
And everybody wants to tell you their story.
Oh, they sure do.
Yeah. I just find people fascinating, and we're all so different, yet we're also much the same. And I just like talking with people,
Yeah.
and I liked helping them.
You like to get things done. Am I
like
right?
to get things done. Yeah. I like to get things done.
Yeah. So.
And I always said too, John, and you can use this if you like,
Yeah.
being a reporter is a license to be nosy.
Oh, definitely so.
So there you go.
Oh, definitely so.
So I could ask any question.
Yeah, it didn't make any
Oh,
difference.
she's a reporter.
Yeah,
She's
that's
just being
right.
nosy.
That's Kathy Bockus.
That's right.
Watch out, Kathy's coming. That's excellent. That's
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. So, in your travels,
Yeah.
what is the common concern within the riding? Is there a common concern?
There's different concerns, I think, in different age groups, perhaps.
Yeah.
With younger people or middle age, it's employment and security.
Right.
With older people, it might be health issues and perhaps needing an increase in their pensions or their income.
Right.
With kids, they want parks and playgrounds and fun things to do. But it depends on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's any different concerns generally in Macadam or Campobello or St.
That's
Andrews
what I
or
was going to
St.
ask you.
Stephen.
No, okay.
I think they're all the same.
They're all pretty well the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
We're all the same people.
That's true. That's exactly.
Everybody's got the same concerns and the same issues. Yeah,
You're a people person.
I am. I think I am.
Yeah. Yeah. 529-8826, the number to call if you have a question for Kathy. Or long distance, 506-529-8826. Or 855, again, if you're in Brazil, 855-529-8826. Kathy and I are waiting for your questions. Give us a call.
If they're in Brazil, I want them to send some weather.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, do you know, I will tell you something that my mother has always told us, that the first Sunday of the month, you can judge the weather for the rest of the month by that first Sunday.
It was beautiful today.
I know it was, but it was also the 1st of March.
That's true.
So in like a lamb,
Yeah.
out like a lion.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we always get a storm around St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And you know what storms in Charlotte County mean?
Oh, I guess.
Lots of snow.
Covered many of them, I guess.
Lots of snow. I brought my pen and paper.
You get your pen and paper.
I know.
I'm just thinking while we're talking. Politics.
Oh, you're back to that. Okay.
Well, I can't.
You're going to make me talk some more, so I'm going to have a drink.
You help yourself.
Should I turn it this way so they can see my nice mug?
What?
Politics is an interesting game, John. It
And
really,
I think that's,
really is.
Kathy. That's what Kathy. Let me put it this way. I wouldn't do what you're doing for $1 million.
And do you know the only reason I'm doing it?
No, why?
It's because I want to keep helping people. I'm not interested in getting into arguments or getting into debates or anything like that.
Right.
Conflict.
Yeah.
I want to help people. I've listened to people my whole life. I want to keep listening to people, and I want them to tell me what they need and what they want.
And that's what you
And
want.
that's why I decided to go into this. That, and because when Greg was so ill, I made him a promise. When he told me how ill he was, I said, "What do you want me to do?" And he said, "Just keep doing what you're doing. Take care of people."
Really?
Yeah. So I said, "Okay, that's what I'll do."
And just while we're going for a break, I want one more time, or a dozen more times, 529-8826, 506-529-8826, or again, way long distance, 855-529-8826. We're going to go for a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back
Hi.
with my guest, Kathy. We didn't go anywhere.
No, we stayed here. Oh, I forgot to drink my water.
Have a drink of water. Kathy is a candidate for the Conservative Party for the St. Croix riding, which includes, again, as we were saying, that includes McAdam,
Yes.
St. Andrews,
Yep.
St. Stephen,
Yep.
Campobello,
Yep.
right? All points in between.
And all points in between, all the
Perfect,
ridges. Yep.
Perfect.
I get to go ridge running.
You get to go ridge running.
Sort of in a, well, anyway.
So
Not in the usual sense of the word.
when you are a candidate, when you become a candidate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You start knocking on doors, am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Have you started that now?
We've knocked on a few.
Okay.
Mostly I'm making phone calls.
Right.
And introducing myself to people.
Right.
And asking
Which
them.
again, like you just said, that's what we're doing right tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. We're
yeah.
introducing you to Kathy Bockus.
Yeah. I asked them if they have any issues or concerns that they want to discuss with me.
Yeah.
And some of them do, and among them were the ones that we had discussed earlier, the employment and health care and different things. So it's been interesting. It's been eye-opening.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought I knew some of the concerns. I'm glad I'm getting more, and it's varied input. You know, I'm glad to be hearing from different segments of the population.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I need to know.
Is a lot of the population, most of the population, like me, politically, I don't know. I just don't know how the whole system works. You know what I mean? And
A lot of people.
a lot of people just come out. Well, you're going to do this about this. What are you going to do about that?
People think that you have a magic wand, and as soon as you're elected or you're running, you can wave it and fix
everything's going to
everything.
happen.
Yeah,
Everything's going to be fixed. It doesn't work that way.
It takes time. Everything takes time.
Yeah.
I do know that we will either be having a by-election or perhaps a general election.
That's what thank you. So, what decides whether there's going to be either a by-election or a full election?
The Premier will decide.
The Premier decides
will
that.
decide.
Is there I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, right now, he has to name a date. He's required to name a date for a by-election within 6 months of Greg's death.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so by March the 10th or 11th, he will be deciding on a by-election.
So that's
date.
coming right up.
It sure is, yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be 28 days from then or whatever. He can pick a date.
Yeah.
And at that date will be the same date for the former Premier Gallant's riding. Because he left that, and the Liberal leader is now going to run in that riding.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be 2 by-elections.
There will be 2. Okay.
Yes,
All
yeah.
right. All right.
So anyway, so I'm raring to go. I hope
Well,
it's
that's what
soon.
yeah. So when
But a lot of people, it's just like, when can we vote? And the general population just knows that they vote for their candidates, and the candidates form a government, or the successful candidates form a government, and then make the decisions for the next 4 years. But in this case, a by-election, I think it would only be for another 2.5 years.
and then there'll be another election,
A general election, yes.
in like 2.5. So what you're going to be doing? Okay. What you're doing
Hopefully,
now?
yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Okay. Could you be doing that again in another 2 years? You know.
I might. I'm just
yeah.
a spring chicken yet, John.
Oh, I know
so-
that, but I mean that's what could happen, though,
That
right?
could-
Okay,
yes,
so we've
yeah.
had the by-election.
Yeah.
Boom, Kathy's.
So if I win the nomination, sure.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
You should try it, John. It's
No,
fun.
no, Kathy, I've got more respect for you than the man on the moon. I don't know. No, no, wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, you'd have fun.
Yeah.
You'd have fun. You'd get to talk to people.
I get to talk to people now.
I remember talking with you at the fall fair. I love
That's-
the fall fair. I'm on the fall fair organizing committee.
Okay,
Yeah,
super.
Yeah, and I work with a lot of great people.
Yes.
And I started last year. Yes, last year, full time working on the fall fair with
Right,
that committee.
yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
Isn't that some kind of
yeah.
an event?
It is.
And
It's
the
a
way
wonderful
that has
event.
grown?
At the Ganong Nature Park, in September.
That's absolutely
It
amazing.
has.
I
This
can
is the
remember.
10th anniversary this year.
Yeah, so is it 10 years?
10 years.
So I've been doing that show for 10 years.
You have been, yeah.
Oh my Lord.
I remember seeing you there last year filming promos, I think, for this. For this.
Yes, that's exactly what we were
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
That's exactly what we were doing.
Yeah, we go to the fair, I think for the past 5 or 6 years with our bee products. My husband's a beekeeper. I think you knew that.
I knew that he
Yeah,
was a beekeeper.
yeah,
I didn't
he's a
know.
beekeeper. I have great respect for the bees. So I
Yeah, you know why? Because they're
don't-
going to sting the living daylights out
No,
of you.
they're
don't
pretty calm. Honestly,
okay.
they're really calm.
Okay.
They will bump you if you're in your suit. No, seriously, they will bump you and just say, look, we don't like you this close to the hive. Yeah, Walter puts a suit. I have put the suit on and been very, cautious in going out, but I think they can smell fear too. But I usually wait inside, and he brings the honey in and the wax, and we make all kinds of different products.
Really?
Yeah, from our candles to our lip balm
Well,
to
yes,
hand
and
cream.
you do. You go to the markets with those. Am I right? Am I
Well,
correct?
we used to,
Yeah.
but we really didn't have time to go to regular markets, so we try to hit the like the farmers markets. We try to hit the fall fair and the specialty
Right
like
on.
Christmas
Right,
markets and
right,
things like
yeah.
that. So, did you know that about 20 years ago I was responsible for helping to revive the farmers market in St. Stephen?
I did not.
Yes, Don Saunders and Maria Culture and I worked. It was on the old town hall on Milltown Boulevard.
Right.
And it was, the farmers market was held in what's now Chocolate Park, the David Allison Ganong Chocolate Park.
Right on. Yeah.
There was the shelter there for that they built that longbow or the long boat in.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
we had our farmers market there, so they wanted to revive it. So they named me market manager, and I helped with that. So it was fun.
You've been involved in civic
Oh yeah.
affairs.
Yeah. And I actually was the first executive director of the Charlotte County Boys and Girls Club.
No, I never knew that.
Yeah, I was a member of Rotary at the time, and the Rotary Club and the Kiwanis Club were starting the Boys and Girls Club, and I had worked at the Telegraph Journal and the Times Globe in St. John. We were right across the street from the Boys and Girls Club there, so I
Okay.
did a lot of stories there.
Right.
And I knew the people that ran it, so I sort of had the connections with St. John, and I helped them establish the club here in St. Stephen.
Amazing.
Yeah, it
Good
was
for you.
fun.
So you've been in.
And Lisa Murphy, I hired her, and she's still there, and that's
Right.
20 some odd years. So,
Isn't that
yeah,
something? So,
she's a great worker.
as far as public life is, you've been living public life all of your career, involved
I've
in.
been in the public eye, I
In the
guess.
public eye.
If you go to something, you can't. People sort of notice you're there taking pictures or
Mhm.
or
And-
interviewing people
yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and talking to them too.
One thing that you certainly would be used to is the hours that.
Oh yeah,
The
you're never
politi-
off. You know that. I'm
Well,
sure
you've
from
never
your
been
radio.
off. Like in radio, you're never off.
No,
You were
no,
never off.
no.
And when
If
I
there
was
was a
doing
story to be
radio, you
told,
were
yeah.
there.
If there was a story to be told, you didn't.
That's
at 4
right.
o'clock, you didn't say, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's 4 o'clock. I
That's-
can't talk to you anymore."
Yeah, this Friday afternoon at 4:30.
Or if there was
so
a
what?
fire at 4:10, oh, too bad, I'm off. See you, on Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
You're always on the lookout. I mean, it's this is printer's ink in here. It's
Embedded in
It's
you.
right. That's not blood. It's printer's ink. I used to tell people.
We have a caller on the line. I think is Casey on the line? Are you there, Casey?
Hello, John.
Hello, Casey. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm just great, thanks.
Good. Oh, I've got a question for Kathy. I was wondering, what all did you learn working alongside Greg Thompson for so long?
Well, one thing, Casey, I learned was his great compassion for people.
Oh,
He really and truly cared about everybody here in Charlotte County. He really did, or in this riding, St. Croix riding. I remember when he got word of the job losses at Flakeboard or at Aruco. His first words to me were, "Man, oh man." He said, "Can you imagine those people getting up in the morning, going to work, and then finding out they didn't have a job?" He said they've got mortgages, they've got car loans, they've got kids' educations to pay for. He was just crushed. And the first call he made was to the Department of Labor, to Trevor Holder, and said, "How can we help these people?" So his compassion, I think, and his genuine caring for people is what I learned from him, or learned about him. He always said, "You've got compassion, Kathy." He said, "So we're keeping you around."
Casey, any other questions?
No, I think that's everything, John. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Thank
you for
you.
calling.
All righty. Thanks for having me.
Again, the number to call to talk to Kathy, questions or whatever, right? Comments?
Funny stories.
Funny stories, 529-8826. Long distance, 506-529-8826. And wherever in the world, 855-529-8826. The dam in Milltown. A lot of talk going on about that. The dam. No, I'm not swearing.
Oh, I thought you said the dam. Okay.
No. That's
the dam in Milltown. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. What can I tell you about it?
I don't know. Now you get me all flabbergasted. I'm not swearing, honest goodness. Okay, a lot of talk about closing, right? What's the story?
Decommissioning it, yes.
Decommissioning
MB Power.
it. Well,
MB
that
Power
means
has
closing
said,
it,
yes,
right?
That's right, yeah.
All right.
They've said that it's not financially viable to renovate it or keep it running. But I was so pleased yesterday at St. Patrick's Hall in Milltown. The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy Development, Mike Holland, was here. And he covered a lot of topics. And there was one gentleman who asked him about the dam. And he stated publicly that there was nothing going to be decided upon the future of the dam until there had been community consultations. So that was really good. I thought that was a really good thing to learn.
Or a really good approach to come to a decision
yeah,
on this.
Yeah. I do know that there's been a lot of talk about perhaps if it is decommissioned, turning the site into a museum. Or building trails around it, or making it a tourist attraction of some sort. I'm not privy to any of that discussion or any of those plans, so I can't tell you what's going to be done, but I do know that if there are community consultations, I want to be there.
Yeah.
And I want to learn, and I want to take part, and I encourage everybody, if you're concerned about the dam, don't just be talking about it and saying, oh, I wonder what's going to happen, or I heard this, or I heard that. Go to the meetings. When they're held, go to the meetings.
Exactly.
And learn firsthand.
You're very compassionate too. You're a very compassionate person.
Well, I deal in facts. I always have. You know, and in radio you would have too, in the news. I like to go to the source and find the facts.
Yes, exactly.
And, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then make up my mind.
Yeah. That's,
I don't deal in rumor or innuendo or fear-mongering or whatever.
No.
I want the facts.
Yeah, I think that was embedded into all of us in radio and in print. You know, get the facts.
Yeah, you may see a story somewhere or hear a story or whatever and think, oh, we have to run with that. Well, you don't copy somebody else's information. You get your own information, and that's what I encourage people to do. Find out for yourselves about everything.
And don't blame everything on. Don't you find that that's another one? You know, well, if they don't do something about that, how many times you heard that?
Yeah.
If they don't do something about
who
this.
Who is they?
The
people are
I used
they.
to say that. Who are these they?
The people are they.
That's right.
If you want things to continue, and the great changes that have already been made and the advancements that we've made in the past 16 months, when I say we, I'm talking the provincial government, then elect me.
Yeah, exactly.
And let Blaine Higgs keep doing things.
How's Blaine doing?
Great.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
I'm very taken by him.
Are you? I've never met him.
I wish you had a chance to. He's so down to earth.
Really? And
he has such common sense and compassion. I remember as a reporter, he was finance minister and he spoke to the Chamber of Commerce here. And it's always stayed with me. He said that he had issued an edict to the civil servants that if someone called and looked for information or wanted help, they weren't to say, oh, sorry, that's not my department. He said he told them to take the person's name and phone number and the information they wanted, find out who they could talk to, and then call them back with that information.
Exactly. That's exactly.
How much better can you get than that?
No. Speaking of callers, I think we have a caller on the line. Go ahead, caller. Is John on the line?
Yep.
John.
Hello.
Hello. You're on the air, John.
Oh, John, this is John Higgins.
This is John Higgins,
right. I just want to say to you how much I really appreciate CHCO-TV. I have moved back here from Ontario, where I lived for about 48 years, and I've retired here in St. John, and this channel is absolutely amazing. Now, I have a question for Kathy.
Yes, well, John, thank you very much for that. You don't know how appreciated we are. Thank you for that. And you do have a question for Kathy?
Yeah, I do. Kathy, if you are elected, my sort of observations about New Brunswick have been from afar, even though I was born here, that New Brunswick is kind of still known as the drive-through province. It has a very low profile, despite its rich cultural heritage. And I was quite really upset when the Premier canceled the New Brunswick Museum, just as one example. That institution, or institutions like it, have a great potential to give pride, a place to give meaning to this province, and really to promote this province and tell our stories across the country. So I just would like to leave that with you and ask you where you would stand on a project such as that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling, John. The Premier didn't cancel the New Brunswick Museum. He canceled a multi-million-dollar expansion, I believe, that was going to be built in Market Square in St. John. He values history. I know he does, just as a lot of us do. Where I would stand, if we could afford a project like that, then I'd say go for it. If we can't afford a project like that, I do know that we have a rich cultural heritage, but I think our money could be better spent on perhaps healthcare and our schools. And it's hard to make priorities, but I would prioritize healthcare and education, I think, over our museum, a brand new museum. And I think he's very conscious of spending the pennies. He did cancel the Francophone Games when the budget for it went from 17 million to, I think it was 130 million. So you've got to be conscious of how much money this province has. We are still, I do think, very much a drive-through province. We have to have things for people to have a reason for them to stop here, which in turn will make us more money, which in turn will let us perhaps tackle projects like that, like an expansion or a new museum. So I hope that answers your question.
John has a very good question there too, or very good point that he does. New Brunswick is known as the drive-through to Nova Scotia.
I prefer to call us a gateway province.
Well, St. Stephen was known, or this area was known as the gateway to Canada.
But I think we're slowly eroding at that. We have more and more things for people to come here to do. We've got the Cross Canada Trail now, the trail system. There's more and more. We have St. Croix Island. Just here in Bayside. I mean, 2004, we had hundreds, if not thousands of people here for that celebration, the first French settlement in Canada.
Right.
So we have a lot of history here in the province. And it's not just history, it's our, I was going to say our wine country, but that's perhaps a little bit outside. But, well, in Harvey, they have...
Well, there you go.
Yeah, they have some distilleries or whatever, but there are different aspects to tourism that we can capitalize on. And perhaps our new tourism minister is already working on that.
Yeah.
Bruce Fitch.
Bruce Fitch?
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing, amazing. Yeah. But look at St. Andrews, where we are.
Oh,
resort. I mean, good Lord.
You have cruise ships coming in, and
exactly. Yeah. So,
there's always. Let's face it, John. There's always areas where money can be spent.
Right.
We just have to get that money first. We can't spend money that we don't have.
That's right. And
so.
Yeah. That's so. Within our area, are we a depressed area?
I don't think so. I think we're a rural area, and I don't think we're depressed. I think.
Well, the whole province is. Aren't we one of the poorest provinces in the? And I'm asking. I don't know.
It depends on your definition of poor too.
Yeah.
I do know we're not a very large population province,
right?
And we do depend a lot on fisheries and aquaculture and industry.
Yeah.
But you have to make a living somehow.
Yeah. Well, definitely.
And if we can attract more and more, if we can make the province attractive to industry to come here, then we'll have more jobs and we'll have perhaps a better lifestyle and less unemployment, and be able to attract some of those kids, and I say kids, younger people that have gone out west to work to come back here, because everybody has to make some money to support their families.
So, and this probably isn't a fair question, how do we do it?
I don't know if you
That's
could look
right.
in your crystal
Oh,
ball here.
I know. That's
You're
not,
hired.
Yeah, that's not a fair
We just
question.
keep working. We keep asking questions. We keep looking into possibilities, and we just keep working. You don't give up.
Let's go for another break.
Okay.
We're going to go for another break. Kathy's going to have another drink of water. Okay? And we'll be back in just a moment for John Higgins Live. Okay, we're back. Kathy Bockus. And we're having a good time, I want you to know, too.
I
right.
sure am, John Higgins.
Had a call during the break.
Yeah.
All right. And the question is, could you explain how the Higgs government, or how is the Higgs government going forward with the health reform fallout?
How is it moving forward, or how
Yep.
can we people trust it to move
You- well,
forward?
Whichever.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why wouldn't they? No, seriously.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm with you.
There was an announcement made about certain health reforms that were going to take place. People objected to those health reforms. The Premier listened. The government listened. And he said, okay, based on what you're telling me, there are gaps that you have identified, so let's put a stop to this, a hold on this, until we have more consultation. So he made a commitment that he would visit every one of those 6 communities where there were going to be ER reductions overnight,
Okay.
to listen to their concerns. So how much better can you get than a leader who listens to the people and isn't afraid to reverse a decision because it might not be in their best interest?
Wow. Is that, yeah.
That's the way I explain it, and that's the way I've thought about it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
I admire him. I admire somebody that's not afraid to put their political life, if you like it,
Exactly.
on the line, and reverse a decision. As I've been told, or I've heard over and over again from the different ministers that I've spoken to in the MLAs, they say, we're just people. We make mistakes. We're here to listen. Help us do better.
Yeah.
So unless people can communicate with them, us, me, how can we know what they're feeling and how can we make things better?
Exactly.
So,
We have another caller on the line, I understand. Caller, are you there?
I am.
Hello?
Hi, can you
Hi.
hear me?
You're on the line. You're on the air.
Good. So my question is for Kathy, and that is, and it involves the mental health professionals available to schools. I know a couple of years ago there was a report done, or there was a recommendation that the standard should be 1 healthcare practitioner per 500 students. And currently in the province, that stands at 1 per 1,000. And that's been the way it has been for a couple of years. And I'm just wondering whether or not, given the types of cutbacks that have been proposed lately, whether or not there's been enough attention given to this, because it seems to me pretty basic. So that's my question. What would the Conservative administration do to make things better?
is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, okay, you're done. Sorry. Did you happen to go to St. Stephen High School on Monday evening to hear Education Minister Dominic Carty?
No, I missed it.
Okay, you would have, you wouldn't have, well, I mean, as much as I like talking to you, you wouldn't have had to call in. He is amazing. He really is. He has so many irons in the fire to make education better in the province. It's not even funny. And he did address the mental health issue in the classrooms. And I'm not familiar with his whole platform, but he has a green paper on education. And that meeting in St. Stephen was his 43rd meeting, community meeting in the province to hear issues like this and what needs to be changed. He said that there are policies that have been in effect and information and studies from previous governments, and what he wants to do is build on that information. He doesn't want to throw it out just because it came from a different government department or a different government. Mm-hmm. He said we have to all work together and we need this information. So they're very much aware of mental health. I don't know what the policy will be dealing with whether it's 1 per 500 or 1 per 1,000. I don't know. I can certainly find out for you if you want to leave your name and number with the studio. I can certainly find out.
I understand, and I have a lot of confidence in Minister Carty. To be honest with you, I think he's very creative and innovative, and he's got a lot of great ideas. I just wanted to make sure that particular piece was on the plate because it's woefully underserved in the entire province for all populations, but I was particularly concerned about schools. Yes. So you've answered my question, and I thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for calling.
Great. If you're waiting to call, do it now.
Do it now.
Yeah, right. 529-8826, 506 long distance, 529-8826. Kathy, as you can see, Kathy love to talk to you. Love to answer your questions.
If I can. If I can.
If you can.
And if I can't, then I'll find the answer.
I do want to explain that to everybody. Kathy said, this is, am I right in, this is a learning experience? Is that the way to put it?
For who, you?
No, I've done this for so long, I'll never learn anymore. But it's to hear what people have to say. It's what you are all about.
How can people be helped
if
I don't know what they need?
That's exactly. And you said to me, if I don't know, and I love that you said that, if I don't know, I'll find out, because I don't know everything.
That's what I've always done. If I don't know, I find out.
Yeah.
I get answers. So.
And I think that is so great. I think that is.
You know, I was really impressed with Minister Carty because his meeting started at 7. Mm-hmm. He had questions from 7 to 9, mm-hmm. and it was a round table, like a World Cafe type thing. Yeah. And he promised that he would stay there until every single person's question was answered. And we didn't leave there till 10 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah. The meeting stopped at 9, and he stayed.
He still
and answered individual questions, had little talks with people.
Yeah.
That's how concerned he is and passionate about what he does.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what struck me is all the ministers, all of them, are so mm-hmm. passionate about creating better lives for us here in New Brunswick. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's it. And I know
that's why I want to be part of that team.
That's what I'm just thinking, that you should be part of that team,
Thank
Kathy.
you, John.
I mean,
can I count on your vote?
I'm not allowed. But no, that's exactly. You should be a part of that team, and this is what this is all about.
Yes,
is to let people know just that
I'm here. I listen, and I'll continue to listen.
Exactly.
I may not always like what they have to say, but they certainly have the right to say it.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Okay, we have another caller on the line from Millen from St. Stephen. Are you there, Millen?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, and you?
Good. Never had it so good.
Good enough, good enough.
You have a question for Kathy?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
As she knows, we had a hockey team here, and I was just kind of wondering what we can do to maybe get another one back.
Wow, if I had the answer to that, I think I'd make Mayor Alan McCachran pretty happy.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but
I miss those games, Mellon. I really do. We had season tickets, my husband and I, for the St. Stephen Aces. It was just one of those things. It wasn't financially feasible. I think the mayor at the time when the team was sold said that he couldn't really invest, was it $150,000? I may just be throwing that number out there, of the town's money into keeping a team here or buying another team. I sure hope we have another hockey team. A lot of people miss it. You make great friendships at hockey games. You really do. The people that you sit with and that you see when you're going for your walk around the track or whatnot. So I would work however I can to try to get a hockey team here, sure. I'm all for it. I just don't know. I don't think there's any provincial money available for something like that. But stay tuned, who knows? I know that there are some people in St. Stephen working very hard to try to get another team here.
Yep.
Or they were. I think they're still working that hard.
Well, they were. I don't know now, but I know we had good attendance and all that
Yeah,
stuff. And it's kind of a shame to lose it because, like you say, a lot of people really enjoyed it.
Well, it's a social event, right? You get out and you
Yes.
talk to people and cheer for the same team, and it builds a sense of community. I loved it.
Yep, no, it was good. No, I was just curious if there's something like the provincial government somebody could do to boost it.
Well, you never know. I mean, I can certainly ask,
Yep.
but I think those questions have been asked. But I
Well,
can
they
ask.
probably have, but
I can ask them again.
well, it won't hurt.
It won't hurt. That's right.
No. Okay. Well, I thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yep. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for calling, Millen. Yeah, that was going to be my question too. Provincial government, would they kick in, or? Yeah.
I don't know where the funds would come from,
Right.
and how they
Yeah.
would justify having buying a hockey team for here and not for maybe Sussex or some of the other communities.
Yeah.
I think it has to be community driven, like it was before.
Right.
I think they learned a lot. The committee that had the team here before. I don't know what happened. I wasn't privy to that, but the community has to take ownership, and they can't expect the town to foot the bill. That's not the town's job, really.
Right. Yeah. No, that's exactly right.
It's
Yeah.
not the town's job. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully, I miss it. We were talking about that just the other
No,
night.
I know, exactly. Okay, we've got about 3 minutes left. If you have a call now. 529-8826. If you have a good question or comment, 529-8826. Long distance, 506-529-8826. Kathy and I are waiting.
We're waiting.
Or 855-529-8826. Again, we've got about 3 minutes left.
So, John, tell me about yourself. Let me listen, John.
Yeah, you got to. No,
Oh, sorry, okay.
I have
you
a
take it back.
therapist that does that.
Poor Trudy. This has been fun, John, and I really appreciate.
Have you had a good time?
I have, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here.
Oh, you know.
I like to talk, as I'm sure you do. And,
I
and
do
you know.
too. I love to talk too.
Yeah, but I like to listen to people.
You do.
And, yeah.
You
and
do.
I'd like the opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity of being here.
Yeah, yeah. That's we did exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted the people to meet Kathy.
Thanks, John.
You're welcome. Okay. You've seen this name, Kathy Bockus, Kathy Bockus, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think we got a glimpse. We didn't get a glimpse. We got a real insight into Kathy Bockus. Insight into Kathy Bockus in such a way that she thinks she wants to help people.
I think I know.
I know you do know.
Yeah.
You're a very strong woman.
You think?
Well, I don't want you to beat me up, but I mean.
Come here, arm wrestle. Come on.
No, afterwards. All right, I'll tell you what.
What?
Let's get out of here.
Okay.
All right. You've done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. All the best of luck in the world to you.
Thank you.
Because you are a caring person. You really are a caring person. Okay. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a great political career.
I
Thank
hope
you.
so.
Okay, that's going to do it for us tonight. Join us next week. We're going to be back again. Kathy will probably be out campaigning, but I'll be back again. Doug and I will be here. John Higgins Live. See you next Sunday. Bye.